direction of the world. Again, I'm back. I am your lovely host, Marya de Torre from the Philippines. And welcome to the third episode of This Side of the Blade, brought to you by FMA Connects. This Side of the Blade is a video podcast dedicated to Filipino martial arts from a woman's perspective, because we believe in the strength, resilience, and beauty that women bring to the practice of Filipino martial arts. And we also want to share that with the FMA community. What are we doing here? We're going to share stories. We're going to share our experiences, some bloopers, some funny stories, all in the spirit of celebrating our love for Filipino martial arts. Because together, we can forge a community that celebrates the strength, grace, and indomitable spirit of men and women in Filipino martial arts. Okay. I am super excited for this episode because today's episode is entitled This is our third episode about love. So I know this is going to be an exciting episode. So let's introduce our first couple. They have been training together for 8 years. Guru Quent and Guru Josy.
Okay, so we're from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hello, everyone. And our primary FMA system is a Kiti Tertia Kali. As well, we've done some in the central blend as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Give them a shout out on our comment section, please. Yes, some hearts and some lots and lots of smiles. Okay, now our next couple has been training together for 6 years. Okay, we have Punong Guro Kayan and Cajudo and assistant instructor Mila Bell. Hi.
We live in Central Florida, and our system is SD Kali or Sanduan Kali.
Yes. Okay, again, give them some shout outs on our comment sections. Big hearts and love. Okay, shall we get to it? Let's begin. Are you excited? Because I want to.
Very excited. I'm so excited.
I seriously want to get to know you. Let's start off with Quent and Josy. How did you and your partner get involved in Filipino martial arts? So share us a little brief story of how it all began.
Sure, okay. Well, basically, I had always wanted to do martial arts, but fast forward, Quint had always done some kind of martial arts as a child and teenager in his past. And then fast forward, we were married for some time, and then, he wanted to get back into it because he had stopped training for some time. And so he kept saying, I want to find an FMA school. So eventually he did find a Filipino martial arts school locally here. And a year later, he enrolled our daughter. And then a year after that, I enrolled. And then that's where it all began. So we all started training together.
I've been in FMA. I started FMA when I was pretty young. I think I was doing Retano Estacada probably when I was between 12 to maybe 15 years old. And then after that, when I got into high school, unfortunately, that's when my martial arts kind of stopped. And then, getting into adulthood, I didn't really get back into martial arts probably until my late 30s. And then I got back into FMA probably 39, 38. And then, I first started doing in a Santo blend. And then I met Tuhan Harold, and then I started doing Kiti Tertia Kali probably around 2013. And then I've been with Tuhan Harold ever since. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you two met? Yeah, on the same school.
We've been together about more than half our lives, let's put it that way. So we were pretty young when we met.
We met when I was 19.
Yeah.
She was 18. I picked her up at a bar.
So romantic.
Yeah.
He actually said he liked my shoes. That's where.
How about you? I want to go to Kayan and Mila. I want to know your love story. So, how did you got involved in Filipino martial arts, and then how did your story begin?
I started martial arts or Filipino martial arts because of him. Um, yeah, but we met through another martial art. So we met because of capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial art. And we met way before we actually started dating. We just kind of were, what do they say, two ships passing in the night. We would kind of pass each other in town, someplace here and someplace there. And we didn't have like a real relationship. We just kind of would say hello and have like, an acquaintance type conversation. Not to say I didn't think he was cute when I first met him, but we were both already into martial arts, and he was already an instructor when I met him or when we started actually dating. So, yeah.
So it's just like acquaintance and friendship that turn into a relationship, right?
Hmm.
So it's not about the shoes for you.
No, no.
Let's dig into the serious stuff immediately. So, have you had any disagreements or conflict within your martial arts practice?
Oh man. Well, in the beginning, yes. Josie is a very strong, opinionated woman, right? She's very strong. So in the beginning, we bumped heads a lot, and it caused a lot of issues in our relationship early on. But as time went on, we developed, well, we start to understand one another and how each other learns. And, to be honest with you, you just have to be, I had to teach myself to be patient, really patient, right? Not just with her, with our daughter, because she trains too. And, it really helped me have her in the academy because it taught me to be patient with everybody around. So it really helped me as an instructor. And, yeah, just did really good for me.
How do you navigate those situations and ensure that it doesn't affect your personal relationship? These disagreements that you have.
So, for example, if we ever have a disagreement prior to going to a class or teaching, um, it affects, it kind of fuses together because, you're kind of irritated, annoyed, or whatever that disagreement has affected that moment. But, we always go back to the fact that we have a responsibility and a commitment to our students, to the school, to our classes. So you have to really kind of change your mindset and say, okay, you know what? We need to focus on what's important right now. And then, to be honest, by the time we get to class or if we're teaching or whatnot, it's actually a cure to our issues. You kind of forget what happened. Yeah, so you go in, you train, you start to have fun, and then you just kind of forget what really happened. So the personal and the training kind of always fuses, like I said, together, and they just kind of work. So, in the beginning, yeah, it was difficult to kind of navigate through that, but now we understand that there's different responsibilities and focuses and what's important. So, yeah,
As soon as she hits me with a stick one time, she forgives me.
Once the sticks are out,
that's
the
right.
knives are out.
It's on.
It's on. It becomes fun now. What disagreement? What was that again?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So since you have a student and teacher relationship, I want to know, how did this relationship evolve into a romantic partnership, and how has that dynamic influence your practice and understanding of Filipino martial arts?
The romantic part was outside of the student teacher part. So we were
Oh, okay.
already, yeah, we were already dating before he basically tricked me into doing FMA.
You have to trick them. And I've never dated any of my students. I don't believe in that.
Okay.
So we were involved before we started training together. And one day I
Mm.
tricked her.
And now she's part of your FMA community too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought we
That's
were
what.
just having an innocent walk through the park, and he brought his sticks. And then I thought he was just doing a cute little solo drill, all graceful. And then he hands me a stick.
And you got hooked after that.
Actually, to be honest, it took me a while to get hooked.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it took me a
okay,
while.
that's an interesting story. Why? Tell me why.
I struggle with the coming into a relationship and being the student to the teacher, because in the beginning he was teaching me one on one. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure and some of those power dynamics, because I want to be an equal, but I have to be a student. And I'm definitely not. I'm not an equal. So, I have had little ego struggles there, to be honest. And that's something I had to deal with in myself. And I had to find a way to make it fun and like kind of get over myself. So forced me to grow a little in that sense because it's not easy to learn from your significant other, your partner. I don't think it is. Yeah.
Have you noticed any positive changes in your communication or teamwork skills as a couple since you started training in Filipino martial arts? And how has this influenced other areas of your relationship?
Yeah, I agree. It's like I think it has really helped our communication actually, because obviously when you're training together, you really have to communicate when you're doing drills. You have to understand what the other partner is doing, and our teamwork skills has, I think, is one of our strong points. It's really developed, and it's kind of again gone into our marriage and our personal lives because now we understand that communication is key, and it's just like being in a combative or situation or in a fight. You got to pick your battles. So you really kind of got to understand. Okay, if this I'm not going to say this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to say it this way because worst case scenario, or what's the outcome. So the communication skill and thinking it out thoroughly has really, really helped in both training and in our personal lives.
Like before she was in that Josie started the school, started training. I was in a position where I was in a position of authority. Having her in the school totally changed the way I taught. Because then I put myself more in a submissive role. Like I know I'm a guru and a teacher, but what happened was when Josie joined and I couldn't be firm with her, I had to change my whole entire way of teaching, and it was because of her. I think I'm very successful in teaching kids, teenagers, because I don't play a role. I'm not your typical instructor that says I'm on top of the pyramid. Everybody has to be below me. For me, I take the blows, I take the hits. I'm just almost like one of you guys, but with the title. You know what I mean? So I think I have that because of what I learned from Josie and the way what changed my teaching skills. It just makes me more personable and more approachable, especially in FMA community, because you're not teaching just to punch and kick. You're teaching students really how to hurt people, and I think that humility that I gained through this experience really shows into these kids. And then, it shows that, okay, you guys are learning FMA, you guys are learning something serious, but you have to be humble and you have to be humble out there. Make sure you're not being, some kind of FMA bully. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I've meant. And that's what I went through Josie and not just her, also my daughter. So yeah, I have to add her there.
As a couple. Okay, so I want to know more about Mila Bal and Kayan here, nudging each other. Okay, so as a couple with a student teacher relationship, what challenges have you faced in maintaining a healthy balance between your personal and martial arts lives?
Well, like Quint said earlier, patience, um, humility, and the way that I teach naturally is very conceptual. And Mila really helped me systemize the system and make it more palatable, more teachable, more understandable. especially for a class.
I know that there was a little bit of challenge in the beginning though. So how were you able to overcome it, Mila?
I think with any good relationship and even within the martial arts context, what you do in a good relationship is you find the best things about each other and you influence each other in that way. So you kind of come together in a sense, a way that he's helped me, even in regular life. But something I learned through martial arts is just having that consistency, having that self-discipline. That is a skill that you can use anywhere in life to succeed and make progress. And that's something that's like a personal mantra for him and something he expresses to me. Within the context of FMA too, like, we're building the school together. You have to do all the deep work of hard and honest, transparent communication and trying to do it in a way that's as kind as possible. So, not only do we see the best parts of each other, but sometimes, not the best parts. And we have to be able to like give that firm, honest feedback with kindness and be able to meet in the middle and become this better version of ourselves because of it. So, within the FMA, it's, it works outside of the relationship too. So in the FMA way, we've really grown together and as a system as well. So
Oh, I like what you said about being a better version of yourselves. I think the same with Quent and Josy, they grow together. And for you, Kayan needed help from Mila to systemize things, and Kayan was able to push Mila to have that consistency and self discipline. And together, you're just a powerhouse. Amazing.
yes.
Come on, let's do it. Power pose. Have you had the opportunity to teach or train others together as a couple? Tell us about how that experience has been and what impact did that do to your relationship?
Yeah, so we do train other couples, and we train together other couples as well. So for me, honestly, when we teach and train together and other couples, it's one of my favorite things to do actually, just because it's so relatable, right? We've been doing it for so long. I mean, we've been together for so long, training for 8 years, and still getting to know each other as partners and only getting stronger. But it helps us with other couples that are coming in to learn, to kind of guide them and kind of give them the tools and kind of like don't reinvent the wheel. These are our tips, as couples, because we know that this starts to happen, start to bump heads. So we always try to keep it fun. I mean, that is the key, to keep it fun and be patient with each other. Those are the key things that we like to teach and instill in new people that come in. And you know what? We try to, like I said, always keep it fun and have a playful training session, because we used to always get angry and mad at each other, but it was getting us nowhere. So if you keep it fun, you're not going to have any issues later, and you actually learn a lot better and faster. And again, it's an example that you set for other people, or even, again, I reference our daughter a lot because she is our, our motivation, so to speak. So, yeah, so it's so much fun. We love, and we have a lot of friends that are couples that train as well, so it makes it that much more fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One thing that really sticks out to me is when we got into self-defense, teaching self-defense to women or LGBTQ's community or anywhere, anything. We taught a lot of self-defense. And when we started doing that, Josie basically was the head. She headed everything. She was in the middle. She became the instructor. So I had to fall back behind her, and basically I was the punching bag. So yeah, so you know what? And it was perfect because it helped me appreciate her, because it showed me how far she's gone from the beginning to the time she started teaching self defense. And it showed me how strong she was. Not only physically, but mentally. And it showed me how great of a person she is, and how well she's able to communicate And the passion, oh man, the passion when she teaches, especially self defense to women, is unbelievable. And it was so beautiful to see, and I think that helped me appreciate her as a woman even more. And yeah, that's really about it.
But I have to add that I wouldn't be able to do that without him being what he calls a punching bag, which is not true. He sees it, but he's not a punching bag. But he is honestly, he makes it easy for me to do that. So,
Because I'm a good
and I
punching
didn't
bag.
pay him to say that. I promise.
No, hearing this, it felt like Quent fell in love with you all over again.
Oh,
Seeing you, seeing you become an instructor and then teach others, sharing your knowledge. It's double. It's like going back to that moment where he saw your shoes. Now it's not just the shoes; it's your training, it's your instructor ability that's showing off now. So wow, amazing. Thank you. And can you share an example of a significant lesson or skill that you learned from your partner as a student or as the teacher, and how it has impacted your growth in Filipino martial arts?
I think we kind of touched on that earlier because I would say that what he shared with me was that sense of self discipline and consistency and developing that own your own drive. You know what I mean? That's been an overarching lesson for me um, as being a good student.
Did you hate him at first? Like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I had to find my own motivation. You know, because I think maybe in the beginning I got lost in like that space of ego where I want to be good in the beginning, which is ridiculous. Um, there are some people who are naturally good at certain things. And for me, I was a little frustrated because some of my other whatever martial arts weren't really like transferring, you know? Because in FMA, there's so much going on. There's like your hands are doing two different things, and then you're doing footwork at the same time. And, and you got sticks, and I had never experienced that before. So, even the little feedback of like, okay, what are your feet doing? And I'm like, well, my hands are working, so I can't really work my feet at the same time. So I would get really frustrated in the beginning, and I would allow that to kind of take me over. But I pushed through it eventually.
I mean, you've been really great now. I can see a lot of your videos. And I think and I believe that Kayan had helped you go through that and then pass through that stage of frustration too. I mean, he's the source of frustration sometimes, but he also helped. So I hear that. So you gotta find that balance.
Oh, I know one thing. In that frustration space, one thing he would say to me that I get now is don't stop. So, like, don't stop. Don't think about stopping. Don't get mad. Just like move through it. Like, continue.
Stay in the flow.
Stay in the flow instead of stopping and starting over.
Stay in the fight.
Yeah, like your shirt. So, as soon as like I listened to it and stopped resisting, things started moving a little more quickly for me because I wasn't stopping and starting all the time. And now that's something I will say to our students of like, okay, don't stop. Like you got this. So, my style is more of like, I'm kind of like a cheerleader, encourager in class. Like, you got this, try to keep them in a good feeling, a good state because I remember I remember so clearly how it feels to be like frustrated and kind of slowing down. So I want to like help people ease through that part, of the
Yeah,
process. And just remember like everybody's not necessarily good in the beginning.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
going to work
So I
out.
want to,
Have faith.
yeah,
Have faith, it's coming.
we all start with nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just really all about showing up every
Mhm.
single day. Showing up, waking up, saying, yes, I'm going to do this today. And
Yeah.
I'm going to do this every day. But I'm really curious about Kayan. How does it feel that you're seeing your partner frustrated? How does it impact you and your growth as a teacher in Filipino martial arts?
Do tell us.
Do tell us.
We would like to know.
Well, seeing her frustrated, I've underestimated her a lot because a lot of people would just quit.
Right.
She has made a lot of adjustments and emptied her cup, lowered her head, and admitted that I was right.
Dang.
It Not all the time, but with this particular thing,
Yeah,
right?
you let them know.
With this particular thing, it's like I'm not always in charge, but
Yeah.
for this particular concept, I need you to consider this, and I need you to empty your cup, and I need you to really be humble in how you approach this. And it's really a reflection of your character if somebody can do that, right? Especially when you're not a kid, you're we're not kids, we're
I'm a grown ass woman.
yeah. So but I was going to mention something that's specific to our training that she helped me understand. So we have a concept. um, the concept is the smaller your wheel, the faster it spins. So it's actually an engineering concept, because I do a lot of design in my blades and,
Yes.
and leather work and woodwork, and I'm also a metal fabricator. So I take a lot of these geometry concepts and apply them to the martial arts. So in in our system, we have a specific concept that says the smaller your wheel, the faster it spins. So
Mhm.
when you're a beginner, you learn these big movements, right? And then
Yes.
as you develop, it actually gets more minimal, right? It gets smaller and simpler. So before training with Mila, I was used to training with heavyweights and guys that are a lot bigger than me.
Hmm.
Takes a long time for that the arm
To get
to,
there.
to drop, right? With
Hmm.
Mila, it does not, because the smaller the wheel, the faster it spins.
So I'm fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ain't that
I honestly avoid sparring her because
what?
out of everybody, she gives me the most problems.
Wow.
You
So
heard
you
that?
also learned. This is the first time you're hearing this.
Mhm.
Lovely, lovely compliments. How do you balance the dynamics of being partners in martial arts and training with the dynamics of your personal relationship?
To be honest with you, it's martial arts is our life. It's every day. We're either teaching or we're learning every single day. So we're probably on the mat probably 6 days a week. So to be honest with you, we both have our day jobs. Then it's either we're at the academy or at the school teaching or again learning. So there's no the way I don't know. Just our life is martial arts. That's all it is.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Like our daughter has been raised on the mat ever since she was 4. Now she's 14. It's been that way for that long. So it's just become part of us. You know what I mean? So that's how we are. We're
Yeah.
a martial
So
arts family.
so because it's our lifestyle, it's the again, it's just the way it is. Even if we're training or in class, it's still part of our world
Yeah.
outside of that. So for example, like I always say, we always plan our vacations around training and teaching, and not the other way around.
Yeah.
And if we're out on vacation, we always see if there's a practitioner or a school or someone we can train with where we're at, or we always take those like even if it's 10 minutes spur of the moment training sessions. Hey, here's the sticks, because we always bring our sticks with us
Always.
no matter where we go. They're always in our car, so if we like stop at a park, we'll just do some things. Like this is on our personal time, which is again
Martial arts.
martial arts time. So it really is one world for us.
Like even all our friends, basically our friend circle, they're all martial artists. They're all
Yeah.
our students, or they're also
Colleagues.
instructors. So yeah, our whole life is martial arts.
You just stop and just you're having dinner and you just stop and you're like, oh, let's just do this drill with chopsticks. Or
That's nice. I feel like while Jossie is cooking, it's like, oh, I thought of something. Can we try this?
and that is a fact. That is fact. That's how it is. He's like, oh wait, I need to do this drill. Come here. So you just got to stop and do something, and then you just go back to cooking or doing whatever you're doing.
Like when we're at home and I pick on her, I get beat up by her and my daughter all the time because if I do something on her, my daughter automatically just helps her out, and I got two girls on my back. I'm in a rear naked choke with one, and one has me in an ankle lock, and I'm just
So you see, even at home, if it's fun, we're still kind of learning, right? So yeah, so it's really our lifestyle.
yeah, it's my life.
Wow. Like everything that you do includes Filipino martial arts. It just merged
Yeah,
basically in your everyday life. Whatever you do includes Filipino martial arts now. So
I think the reason for that is because I've been doing it so long, and I trained with so many great Filipino martial arts instructors that I owe it to myself to represent them fully. And to me, I'm not the type of person that doesn't feel success, or I don't think I'm as good as these guys. So I have to prove myself every single day just to carry their legacy. And I think that's why we brought into our personal life as much as it did. Because to me, we owe it to the legends. We owe it to all the legends we learned from to be this way.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think Quent, your experience with the teachers that you've had before is in a family setting too, right? So you had
Yeah.
that, you've experienced that family and lifestyle, and you're bringing it into your family now. So that's really nice. So it only um, shows how family and Philippine martial arts can be merged together. This is a very nice example of a good type of merging. Question for you. In what ways has your relationship enhanced your understanding and application of the principles and techniques within Filipino martial arts? And how do you continue to learn from each other? Like right now, because you've told us your story earlier, how you started. Now I want to know the continuation of that story, where you are right now.
I think our student teacher relationship allows us kind of like a privilege, I think, because, having our very close relationship, we're always accessible to each other. And because Filipino martial arts is such a prominent thing in our lives, we're able to like always give each other feedback or ask questions or work a technique or synthesize and give that perspective back and forth. So it's very convenient for me as a student, and I think pretty convenient for you as a teacher to develop a deeper understanding, deeper practice, and I can give my feedback as a student. Yeah, and because we have such a good relationship of like trust and open communication, there isn't like a drama behind getting that feedback or a barrier.
So we're also a family martial arts. We also train with the kids, and probably the coolest thing about our relationship is the discipline it takes to show up to training is real, but the seriousness of your actual training, it doesn't always have to be so serious. So you can have fun, right? She definitely I don't have a very charismatic personality, so she balances me a lot, and she makes the mood lighter. She has her silliness, and we do a lot of play fighting, and we do a lot of play fighting with the kids. And but one of the greatest things that just having her in class is she really has me reconsider a lot of techniques for smaller people. Because remember, I'm used to training with full size men and big guys, and a lot of it, it's just not necessary. It has to be adjusted for smaller people. So same thing with training with the kids is the kids, they can't do everything that the adults can do, but they can definitely do a lot. So making those adjustments wouldn't be possible without her. So, and making it really fun to train. Hmm.
I'm fun.
You're fun. And he's
You're
serious.
fun, Maria.
Well, when I, because I've met Kayan and Mila Bell, they went to the Philippines and I met them. And I would not know that Kayan is a serious person. He's not. He was very jolly,
Is
and I
the
think I
he's
Just
think
not.
quiet,
Yeah, no,
just quiet.
he's intense, but once you get to know him, he's more silly. But you know what I
yeah,
Hmm.
mean.
yeah,
He has that
uh-huh.
passion, that drive.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, he does. But I also like the fact that because of your relationship, Kayan also grew as an instructor, as a teacher. And for all of the couples out there too, it's all about giving and taking and learning from each other and growing together as well because of each other. So this is very positive. Having an FMA relationship is good also for you for your growth. How do you support and motivate each other? But I want to know if you have rituals or practices that help each other to motivate each other and get you focused.
Um, well, not real rituals per se, but because, like we mentioned earlier, it is our lifestyle, we are constantly, telling each other, this works, because I do take on a student role as well, not just always an instructor. So we do instructor student role. So I'll be a student in his class as well. And when, it gives me the opportunity to sit back and kind of take on the perspective as a student. And when we're at home and whatnot, I can say, you know what, this was a great way that you taught this. This was a great drill. Or I could say, this didn't work as a student. Maybe this would be a better approach or to understand it a little bit different because we do know that everyone processes and learns differently. So when we're at home, I'm always motivating him and trying to help him again in that perspective as a student, to adjust things that may or may not work. And so that really kind of translate into the teaching of the next class, or how can we modify or change something that'll work, or vice versa, what didn't work. So we're constantly able to communicate that, whether again over dinner or whatever. So that's always the other, and always motivating each other. It's like, okay, well, I'm in the mood to train. One of us may not be in the mood to train, but we're always like, okay, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, right? So, and again, we have to set an example for those that are watching, and that's our daughter, right? So if we're not doing it, how are we going to be able to practice what we preach, so to speak? Yeah. So and again, like as I mentioned about the student instructor role, um, I do remember the first time I called Quint. I was a student. I was like, okay, Guru. So I'm in the class. So, you kind of again separating that whole. And he just kind of looked at me kind of awkwardly, uncomfortable. And he's like, you don't have to call me that. But you do, because now, you're in the setting of your classroom. So when I first called him Guru, I said, no, it's important to establish those boundaries, you know. But I assure you, I don't call him that at home.
I asked. I've been trying. Both my daughter and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but that's how we tend to motivate each other. It's always about the talk, and again, who's watching. So, and that's our daughter.
The way I motivate both Josie and my daughter is through bringing myself down. You know what I mean? Because I know that Josie's full, like potential. I know she can be good, really good at something if she just puts her mind to it. She could do anything. Same thing with my daughter. So the way I push them is, I have to lesser my stance or my persona as a guru and just motivate them in a way and push them. You guys could be way better because honestly, in life, in martial arts, with my family, even being at a guru, I put them ahead of me. I put all my students ahead of me, and that's why I think I motivate them the same way I motivate the students by lesser putting myself in a lesser position visually, so everyone's like, "Whoa, I can do it." You know what I mean? Or I'm able to achieve
like
this.
like teaching as an equal. In
Yeah,
other words, like he's always tries to put himself in other people's shoes when he's teaching. Okay, so let me look at it at this perspective. So I think that's kind of like
yeah,
which is great because then students tend to relate to that. So. But with like Mila said, there was always that frustration. So as being a couple, like it's easier to get frustrated with each other, right? That is not super easy, right? So again, you kind of have to work through that, and
I'm like, what did I do? I didn't do anything.
What did
it's just like if I'm
I
frustrated with myself, I'm not getting a drill. Who's the next and the closest person to you? That would be them.
do? But before you met Josie, is that your way of teaching, or that's something that you learned because you've met her?
When I was in class before she joined, it was like I had the ego. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm the teacher, I'm the guru. You guys should be listening to what I say, and it's the way I do things. You guys should be kind of like mimicking me. When Josie joined, I had to change that because again, I had to realize I realized that everybody learns and learns different, and it was all because of her and my daughter at the same time.
That's nice. It's like when you've met her, like your eyes open into a whole new different perspective. Oh wait, there's also this other world that I should be considering, that I not now you became better as an instructor and you felt that because of that relationship. Very nice. I like it. I love it. Hearts. Big hearts. Okay. With all of your experiences, and I know that you've had a lot, and listening to this conversation, I know that you'll be the best person to provide tips. So, what tips can you give other couples out there who is interested in training together in Filipino martial arts?
I have one word, and it's just patience. That's all it is. That's the bottom line. It's like I think patience in anything, any aspect of life is what gets you far. And if you guys, anybody, any couple is thinking of getting into FMA or any martial arts, if you're gonna train with your partner, you have to be patient, and you have to be totally understanding because again, not everybody looks the same. And yeah, that's really about it. That's plain and simple.
What do you think can you share, Josie, as a tip that can make these couples successful and grow together in their practice?
Not to take it so serious, like again, keeping it fun at all times because it it's not going to be enjoyable if you're not there having fun together. It's like taking any class together. You're there for a reason. Yes, you're there to learn, but if you're not having fun, then what's the point? And I also advise that, if you're a couple and you happen to live together as well at home, take a minute and learn to train a lot at home together because it builds that flow within each other, and it actually builds a lot of trust when you're, as teachers, instructors, students, or if you're demoing together, because now you've built that bond. You're able to do it at home, even if it's just one quick drill, then you become much more familiar with each other, not just as partners, but now as training partners as well. So yeah, patience, keeping it fun and training when you can at home, just even for a few minutes. just to build that extra trust. So that's what I would advise.
Yeah. Also, like what she said is like we train a lot of couples also, and the amount of work that we do. I'm not saying we train 24 hours a day, but when we do, try to flow at home, it almost shows the other couple students, this is what happens when you put in a little bit of work. You know what I mean? And I think it shows. It shows the students that wow, we can do that, and we can flow as good as Guru Quinn, Guru Josy. We just had to put in the work. You know what I mean? And I think it's. I'm not saying we inspire a lot of people. I'm just saying we have the possibility of inspiring the couples that we teach.
Because we always have fun.
Yeah.
It's true, and it's always fun. Like, yeah, we've had our arguments, but I'm telling you, it's the key. I don't know.
She wins all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the key too. And I like that you are inspiring. And without you even knowing, like right now, I am inspired by your relationship, by the stories that you just told me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our audiences watching right now are also inspired. So that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here right now. We're showing these couples and inspiring each other to train together and push each other. What tips or advice would you give to other couples who are interested in training together?
If you are a couple and you're interested in training together, I would strongly recommend not to base your success on someone else's ambitions. So, what do I mean? So we're also into fitness. So if you know anything about fitness, is people get really excited at first, and then they find out that their fitness program takes some discipline, and it takes some work, and it takes some time, and you have to sacrifice other things in your life like cake or the alone, the downtime that you used to have. So training FMA is very similar to that. Having a partner, if you're going to class together, it can be very motivating, especially if they're at your door knocking, saying, come on, get your shoes on, let's go. But if they don't show up to your door and they're not knocking, are you still going to go to class? So that's what I would recommend is you should have your personal goals regardless of your partner's goals. And you should commit to those goals.
I agree. I agree. I do. I agree because I so agree with everything that Quent and Josy said too. I'm all about making it fun and enjoying it. But there's also like another factor. Like there's a lot of times when your inertia just doesn't motivate you to move, right? Sometimes you're just in a mindset of like blah. And so I think that ahead of time you need to make a commitment to what your priorities are going to be, and like what level of dedication do you want FMA to be a part of your life. In the beginning, it might be, a smaller hobby together, but I think it still helps to like maybe schedule that in so it's not just something, oh, I feel like doing it today or not. If you just go on your feelings all the time, sometimes your feelings don't represent you very well. Mm-hmm. Right? Like if you're just going by, I feel kind of poopy today, I'm not going. There's kind of like, I feel poopy in the sense that I feel just lazy, or I feel like watching more Netflix, or I feel like, taking a nap. And then all of a sudden you're not like prioritizing something you actually would really enjoy. So I think that for a lot of people, you need to be like, okay, I'm going to go to class twice a week, and we're going to practice at least 3 times a week outside of class together, and let's schedule those times, and still have that dedication to yourself. You can practice yourself whenever, but you got to motivate yourself to do things, because there's so many distractions in the world right now. It's so easy to just like fall into a distraction bubble of social media or naps and books
So
or
true.
whatever it is, Netflix, anything. So
Anything.
I think to have some dedication and not just do it on a whim.
Another mistake that people make a lot, because I have a lot of my students and training buddies who will always ask me, how can I get my wife to train FMA? And the answer is, you can't. And you'll never be able to. So you should just let go of that idea. That has to be her choice. And it's just one of those things. You either love it or you don't love it. If you kind of like it, you'll do it for a little while and then you'll fall off. But if you really love it, you're never going to stop training.
That's true. I mean, as a partner, you could always start and open that door for your partner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, there's encouragement. But you can't force somebody to train. You can't force them.
You put a stick in my hand and trick me.
You can trick them, but you can't force them.
On that first time, but then on the second, third, and fourth, you picked it up yourself. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I cannot take credit for all of the hard work that she's put in, because most people would give up. Most people don't want to get hit with a stick.
But not Mila, Belle, and Josie. They love getting hit by a stick. For sure. Right? Okay. So I want to end this with some lovely messages to each other. So let's start with Quent and Josie. I want you to face each other. Yes, face each other.
Okay.
And couple
Yeah.
therapy. So I want
Training
you to
is
face.
couple therapy.
You weren't informed. This is a couples therapy. Okay, so Quent and Josie face each other, and then let's start with you, Quent. I want you to say your message to Josie. Make it about 2 to 3 sentences. Keep it short, but I just want you to give your message to Josie for today.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for making me a better person. Thank you for inspiring me, and thank you for being a big part of my life. And I never want this martial arts journey to ever end. Without you, would never be the same.
Okay. I thought I'm not gonna cry, but I'm starting to cry again. That's so sweet. Sweetest thing ever. Okay, so I'm gonna go to you, Josie. It's your time to shine. All right, give your message to Quent.
Okay, Quint, I just want to say thank you for always being the most humble and supportive partner in training, life, and everything that we do. I've only become the martial artist and the person that I am today because of you. And your humble spirit and your kind soul and your selflessness has made me appreciate everything about training and FMA and just life in general. So thank you for everything that you do and who you are.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much, Quent and Josie, for gracing us with your presence. Now I'm gonna go to you, Mila, Belle, and Kayan. There you have it. Same thing, darling. Face each other. And then I want you, Kayan. Let's start with Kayan first. Share your message to Mila.
Share what now? Mila.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for your inspiration, and you have helped me learn how to teach,
Mm.
which teaching is the highest form of learning. And it takes a lot of trust and humility. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys, all of you are making me cry.
Ah.
Okay. Last but definitely not the least, darling, Mila, darling, say your message to Kayan.
Thank you for bringing this beautiful, fierce art into my life. I've become a better person, stronger, more disciplined, more focused, better version of myself because of this practice and because of your inspiration. So it's really enriched my life, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Big hug.
Butthead.
Just hit him with a stick.
Ow.
You're so cute. Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for gracing us with your presence today. Oh my gosh, I'm really crying again. Gosh, these couples. You are such an inspiration, Quent and Josy, Milabel, and Kayan.
Our new journey has recently begun, so we just opened up our new martial arts school, which is United Fist Martial Arts. And so you can find us, yeah, and thank you. UnitedFistMartialArts.com. Check us out. A lot of great things to come. So, and we also sell martial arts gear. Any Filipino martial arts stuff that you need. So, and that's through our United Fist Fight Store as well. So, thanks for this opportunity as well. And it's just I can't wait to see what comes from all this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. Yay, big heart.
Right.
In October, every October, we hold the Gathering of the Tribes, which is one of the biggest FMA gatherings in Florida. It's a completely free event, and it's just a gathering of the FMA schools of Florida. Mostly instructors that just come, and it's a day of sharing, and it's a Filipino potluck, and it's just about brotherhood and ending the tribalism in our community.
October 14th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We are sdkali.com.
And I have a new line of self-defense women's accessories.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
they're hand forged.
Again, everyone, thank you for coming. I really learned a lot from this conversation. I learned about patience. I learned about having fun as a relation in your relationship, in your training together. I learned about adjusting your how you train, making those adjustments, learning from each other because of that. But the most important thing that I learned is showing up every day, every single day. Showing up for training, showing up for each other, and just being proud of your partner. I hear that a lot from these two couples here that we have today. They were in every words that came out of their mouth, they were just so proud of each other. So that's what I really learned about this relationship. There's that respect and that pride showing off your partner. So thank you so much for all of these learnings for today. This has been your host. I'm Marya Dela Torre, and this is This Side of the Plane. Bye! I'm signing off.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.